All right, strap in, everyone, because today we are diving deep, deep into the dark web.
Ooh, sounds a little ominous, doesn't it?
It is a bit, yeah. We're going to be looking at the controversial figure of Ross Ulbricht.
The man behind Silk Road.
Exactly. And, you've given me like a mountain of stuff to go through.
I did.
Articles, court documents. I even saw some personal notes in there.
Some of my scribbles, yeah.
So let's sift through it all
Let's find the good stuff.
and unearth the juicy bits.
Absolutely.
What I find so interesting about Ulbricht is that it's not just about the tech, right?
Definitely not.
It's about freedom,
Ethics.
unintended consequences.
Yeah, he was a libertarian idealist.
Yep.
Really thought he was carving out a space for liberty.
A digital one, but with a pretty steep price of admission.
Right.
So paint me a picture.
Okay.
What was Silk Road really like?
Okay, so imagine this hidden digital marketplace
Hidden where?
tucked away in the encrypted corners of the internet.
Okay.
Anonymity was everything. And cryptocurrency, well, that fueled this whole black market economy worth, well, billions.
Brilliance.
Seriously. Over $1 billion in transactions just in the first couple of years.
Wow, that's like, I don't know, the GDP of a small country or something.
Yeah, pretty much. The scale of it was mind-blowing.
So how did it actually work? How did they keep it all under wraps?
It was clever.
Oh.
They used Bitcoin for these, untraceable transactions.
Smart.
And then the Tor network to keep everyone anonymous.
Like a digital invisibility cloak.
Exactly. It was a tech marvel, but, built for illegal stuff.
Yeah, that's the catch, isn't it? It's like this ethical tightrope walk.
Definitely.
On the one hand, you could argue it made drug deals safer.
No more shady street corners.
Potentially less violence, right? But then on the other hand,
It arguably made those illegal substances way more accessible.
which could fuel addiction and all these other issues.
Exactly. It's a real dilemma.
It is. And then the story gets even wilder.
Oh,
Ulbricht, who was operating under this pseudonym, Dread Pirate Roberts,
love that name.
gets caught
Busted?
in the most unexpected place,
Where?
a San Francisco public library.
No way. Talk about a plot twist.
Right. This mastermind of the dark web, hiding in plain sight.
What a story.
And then, boom, the FBI swoops in.
The charges were serious stuff.
Oh, yeah. Narcotics trafficking, hacking, money laundering.
They even threw in some alleged murder-for-hire plots.
Wow.
It was intense.
The trial was quick.
And the sentence.
Harsh.
How harsh are we talking?
Double life plus 40 years, no parole.
Wow, no parole. That's heavy.
It really makes you wonder, was this justice being served?
Or were they making an example out of it?
Right. A warning to anyone else thinking of setting up shop on the dark web.
Interesting point.
You know what? This case didn't just stay in the courtroom.
It blew up.
It sparked this huge debate,
Yeah, a real societal firestorm.
touching on some massive issues.
Like-
Internet freedom versus regulation, privacy in the digital age, the whole war on drugs debate.
All the big ones.
And these are issues we're still grappling with today.
Absolutely. They're more relevant than ever.
Let's unpack that internet freedom angle first.
Okay, good place to start.
Did the government cross a line shutting down Silk Road?
Ulbricht's supporters say, yeah, they did.
How so?
They say the FBI used these super intrusive tactics to find the Silk Road servers.
Okay.
Potentially violated the Fourth Amendment, the one that protects against unreasonable searches.
Right.
They argue that people should be able to buy and sell online.
Even if it's illegal stuff.
Yeah, their point is the government shouldn't be snooping around without proper warrants.
So it's bigger than just drugs.
Oh yeah, much bigger.
It's about our digital rights, our freedoms online.
Exactly. If they could get into Silk Road's servers, what's stopping them from accessing other platforms?
That's a scary thought.
It is, isn't it? Especially as our lives become more and more intertwined with the digital world.
It's like this question of digital privacy has been blown wide open.
It really has. But of course, there's the other side.
Yeah, the people who say the government was totally in the right.
Right. They argue Silk Road was this huge danger.
A public safety threat?
Because of the drugs, right.
Yeah, they're not wrong. Those substances can be incredibly harmful.
Addiction, overdoses, people can die.
And they say that anonymity, that was the whole draw of Silk Road. That could have led to all sorts of other crimes.
Yeah, not just drugs. Think about it. Money laundering.
Arms dealing, even.
Who knows what else could have been going on?
So it's this classic
Clash.
individual freedom versus keeping everyone safe.
Ulbricht's case really throws that into sharp relief.
Doesn't it? And what's so interesting is how this debate isn't just happening, in courtrooms.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Online forums, families arguing over dinner.
Everyone's got an opinion on Ulbricht.
It's like he's become this symbol.
Almost a Rorschach test for our values.
Exactly. What do you believe about the role of government, about personal liberty? It forces you to confront those questions head on.
And we can't forget how technology plays into all of this.
Yeah, it's like Ulbricht's case was a preview.
A glimpse into the future.
Of how technology is going to keep pushing these boundaries.
And complicate these issues even further.
So how will history remember Ulbricht? What's his legacy?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
In some circles, he's a hero.
Especially for those who are really into internet freedom, decentralization, all that.
They see him as this pioneer, someone who challenged the system.
Pushed the limits of what's possible online.
Right, but then you've got the other side.
People who say he was a criminal.
Profited off of dangerous activities.
His legacy is going to be debated for a long time.
I think so. There's no easy answer.
One thing's for sure, though.
What's that?
It's a cautionary tale about unintended consequences.
You start out wanting to create a haven for privacy and freedom.
And suddenly you've opened this Pandora's box.
Of criminal activity, ethical dilemmas, it's a mess.
It really shows how technology is a double-edged sword.
Oh, absolutely. Incredible potential for good.
But it can be used for bad, too.
And it's on us, the users, to figure out how to wield that power responsibly.
So zooming out a bit, what can we learn from Ulbricht's story about the future of tech and how it's going to impact us?
I think it highlights how tricky it's going to be.
To navigate this digital world?
All these questions about privacy, security, freedom.
They're only getting more and more urgent.
And with tech moving so fast, the answers aren't getting any easier.
Not at all.
Ulbricht's story is like holding up a mirror.
To society.
It shows us the cracks in our system, legally, ethically.
Our understanding of freedom in this digital age, it's all being tested. And it's bigger than just drugs, bigger than the dark web.
Right. It's about figuring out how to balance individual liberty with the need for security and responsibility.
Especially as the line between the real world and the digital world keeps blurring.
Yeah. How do we harness the good of technology while minimizing the risks?
Those are the questions we need to be asking.
This deep dive isn't about finding all the answers.
Right. It's about getting us to think critically, to reflect.
And hopefully empowering you, the listener, to keep exploring these issues.
Absolutely. It's not black and white.
No, good intentions can go wrong.
And sometimes, even the pursuit of freedom comes at a cost.
Ulbricht's story really drives that point home.
So as we go deeper into this whole thing, I'm curious, what's really stood out to you so far?
You know, for me, it's how resilient ideas are.
Interesting.
Like, even though Ulbricht is in prison, his beliefs about freedom, tech, the limits of government, they're still out there.
Still sparking debate.
Inspiring people. It's like his story has become bigger than him.
Yeah.
It shows that even when you face huge obstacles, ideas can live on.
Powerful stuff.
And speaking of ongoing battles, we can't forget about Ulbricht's legal challenges.
And that whole movement to get him released.
This story is far from over. So yeah, those legal challenges, they're still ongoing.
Ulbricht's lawyers are really digging in.
Saying the FBI, well, they might have messed up.
Yeah, how they tracked down those Silk Road servers. Might have stepped on Ulbricht's Fourth Amendment rights.
That whole thing about unreasonable searches and seizures.
Exactly. It's making people think, how does law enforcement work in the digital world? Where is the line?
Big questions. And it's not just the legal team anymore.
Nope. Now there's this whole clemency campaign.
People calling for Ulbricht's release.
And some pretty big names are getting involved.
Oh, yeah. Tech folks, politicians, even a few celebrities.
They're saying that double life sentence.
Way too harsh.
Especially for a nonviolent crime.
And that Ulbricht, well, he's shown remorse.
Says he's a changed man.
They point to his behavior in prison, say he's on the right track.
It really makes you think about the point of punishment.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it just about revenge?
Or is there room for forgiveness, second chances?
Ulbricht's story really brings that debate to life.
It does. And we can't forget about all this cryptocurrency stuff that's blowing up.
It's everywhere now.
Ulbricht's story feels even more relevant now, with Bitcoin and blockchain going mainstream.
It's like he was a pioneer, in a way.
A controversial one, for sure.
Some see him as a visionary.
Saw the potential of crypto early on.
But others still see him as a criminal.
Taking advantage of that anonymity for his own gain.
He's a fascinating figure, that's for sure.
Definitely. And what's crazy is, even from prison,
he's not staying quiet.
Ulbricht's writing essays, making art.
Sharing his thoughts on freedom, tech, responsibility, all of it.
Like he's refusing to fade away.
It's pretty remarkable, actually.
It is. It shows how powerful ideas can be.
How that human need to express yourself, it can overcome so much.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Ross Ulbricht and the Silk Road,
What are we left with?
I think it's clear this isn't just about one guy or one website.
It's much bigger than that.
It's about all of us, really.
And how technology is changing everything.
The way we live, the choices we make.
The questions we have to ask ourselves.
Ulbricht's story, it's a cautionary tale.
About the good and the bad that comes with innovation.
The tension between wanting freedom
And needing security.
it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It reminds you that there aren't always easy answers.
It's not black and white. It's complicated.
There's nuance, there's debate, and that's okay.
It's what makes it so interesting to explore.
And that's what we try to do with these deep dives.
We're not here to give you all the answers.
We just want to spark your curiosity.
Get you thinking a little deeper.
Maybe even inspire you to do some digging of your own.
So keep those questions coming.
Keep exploring these issues.
Because that's what makes this journey so rewarding.
And who knows what we'll uncover next.
Exactly. Until next time.